Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kim Wellman. I work in the financial aid office. I am the scholarship coordinator and a financial aid advisor. So this workshop is designed for students who are interested in attending a graduate program pretty much at any school. So we're going to cover some general information. And then in 2 weeks, the Graduate Student Center has set up another one that is geared. If you know that you're wanting to come to CSUB, the next one will have a lot more CSUB specific details on how to get aid, find out what you're eligible for as a graduate student. So we're going to go ahead and get started on the PowerPoint. And as Adrienne said, at the end of the presentation, it's just question and answer time. So feel free to throw your questions into the chat, and then they'll select questions and we'll answer them as we go. We'll also make sure you guys have my direct email. So if by any chance you don't get a chance to ask your question or you don't feel it's answered fully, I am here to help you guys. You're welcome to email me directly anytime. If you have any questions, follow-up questions, even if they're not necessarily related to this workshop, but any kind of financial aid issues, please shoot me an email and we'll get you taken care of, okay? So money matters for graduate programs. Here's a couple of the topics that we're going to go over in this workshop. Application fees. How many schools should you apply to? Taking a look at published tuition rates versus what would really be your out-of-pocket cost, because sometimes those are very, very different. The iGrad online tool that you have, and this is available to you as a current CSUB student. And then the bigger picture. Why do I want to go to grad school? What's in it for me? What can I expect as far as what I might owe? Is it really going to be worth it? And the increase I might have in my income, okay? So the biggest thing I want everybody to take away from this workshop is that yes, you can. You can make graduate school happen if that's what you want to do. You can find a way to afford it. And you can go to a school that you really want to go to. So let's get started and take a look through here. The same thing as being an undergraduate, you all starts with your FAFSA or DREAM Act application. You can't receive financial aid or assistance if you don't apply. So please make sure that even as a graduate, whether it's a master's program, credential program, or a doctorate program, get your FAFSA completed or your DREAM Act, okay? The priority deadline here in California is March 2nd. Why that matters is, we'll talk a little bit about CSUB. One of the grants that we have for graduate students is a state university grant. It is a limited fund with many more eligible students than money we have to give everybody. As much as we would like to give everybody what they're eligible for, there's just not that much available. So getting your application done, your FAFSA or DREAM Act application by March 2nd, kind of puts you in the priority at the front of the line to receive those funds as they come available if you're eligible. So please get those done. If you're looking at going to graduate school next year, next fall, the FAFSA and DREAM Act have been open since October. So you can log in right now and apply as a graduate student or a credential or a doctorate student, okay? Now, other states do have different deadlines. So if you know that you're looking at a graduate school in, let's say, Texas or South Carolina, you want to make sure that you log into FAFSA, and I had the link on that other page. Pull it right back up here. This link down towards the bottom, you can find the deadline for FAFSA for any state that you're interested in, okay? Application fees. Applying to graduate school can get pricey. So how do you plan for that? How do you allocate for that? So every school is different. Some are very pricey at almost $200 per application. There's a few schools out there that might be free. Typically, you're looking at $50 to $85 per school to apply. Now, when you're applying, especially to most master's programs, you're also going to need to take either the GRE or the GMAT, and there's fees associated with that also. So if you're looking at applying to, let's say, 3 or 4 schools and you need to take the GRE, now you do only have to take it once and you can have it sent to multiple schools. You're looking at an average cost of maybe around $1,000 to apply to multiple schools and take the tests that you need to take. So that's just kind of a ballpark number to maybe look at setting aside. You know, if you get that refund from your undergrad program in spring, put some of that money away because it can help you apply as you're wanting to move forward into your graduate program and take these tests. As far as application fees, always contact the school that you're looking to apply to see if they offer any waivers or reduced applications. Most campuses do. The CSU system does for undergrads, not so much for graduate students, but we do offer here at the Financial Aid Office, if you're attending CSUB, we can help you apply for reduced testing fees if you meet certain requirements. So again, please reach out to the campus either you're attending now or you're going to go to, and talk to financial aid about reduced applications or reduced testing waivers so that we can help you keep your costs to a minimum going forward. But know the cost you're looking at and budgeting ahead of time. You don't want to be up against a deadline and need to pay a $150 application fee and find out you just don't have the money at that time. So plan ahead, know your deadlines, know your costs so that you're ready. Okay, how many schools should you apply to? A good rule of thumb is 4 to 6 schools, and that might seem like a lot, but I think you'll be surprised that once you start applying, you might find that maybe the school isn't really the one you wanted to go to, and now you're getting more excited about another school. I always encourage everybody, undergraduates and graduates alike, apply to about 2 schools that are your dream schools. That's where you want to go. They have the program you feel strong about. You feel like that school is just a really good fit for you, even if it might be pushing some of your academic limits to get in. Apply to 2 schools that are middle ground, ones that you're pretty sure you'll get into, you're still interested in, they have great programs. And then maybe also apply to 2 schools that you know you meet all the requirements. It might be a little bit more on the affordable side, because once those acceptance letters start coming in, you really want to be able to choose what's best for you at that time. Because the deeper you get into the application process for graduate school, it's a little bit different than undergrad in that the campus is really going to want to get to know you. The admissions department might want to get to know you, the faculty and staff of the program that you're applying to. And through those processes, you're going to get a better feel if this is really where you want to be, or do you maybe want to look at another school, okay? Don't laundry list the classes and professors. Don't write your letters thinking this is what they want to hear. Be authentic, be you, be honest about what you're excited about, what you're wanting to learn, what you can bring to the campus, and what you're hoping to get from that campus's program. If you're really not authentic about who you are and what you're after and what your goals are, you might end up somewhere that's not quite the right fit. So you're going to find that graduate programs are a little more personalized, little more specialty driven than the undergrad programs, and you want to make sure it's the right fit for you, okay? So don't apply with generic applications. Don't send the same one to each campus. Make sure that you're specific in your letters and statements as to why that campus and that program is a good fit for you. The last item on this list, know your deadlines. Again, very important. Make sure that you plan ahead financially and time-wise to get your applications and all the requirements in on time. Those requirements will vary a lot from one school to another. So make sure that you check on the school you're applying to and that you've hit all of their individual requirements. Update your resume and your letters of recommendation specific to that campus. Taking the time to do that could pay huge benefits for you as far as getting in. Okay, published tuition rates versus out-of-pocket costs. Just an example, our current director of financial aid here at CSUB came from Ohio, out of high school and went to Pepperdine. And he ended up paying less out of pocket to attend Pepperdine as an out-of-state student than he would have in his local Ohio State campuses. And that's due to his academic background, his financial need. So being even a private institution and a higher cost private institution, they were able to subsidize those costs for him. So never assume that when you look on their website and you see this is, your tuition is $50,000 for the year, that doesn't mean that that's what you're going to be paying out of pocket. So if you're interested in that school, take the time to apply. Take the time to get your financial aid offer from them and see what they do have to offer you. Because the money you're paying yourself out of pocket might be much less than you expected it to be compared to looking at a state school or a publicly funded university, okay? Published tuition rates can be very misleading, like I said. So make sure that you find out what your out-of-pocket costs will be. And the only way to do that is to make sure you've done your FAFSA and to do your application for that campus. So just kind of an example, I want to show you how things can fluctuate. So when you're looking at cost of attendance, every university will have cost of attendance budgets. So what you're looking at right now are the CSUB cost of attendance examples for graduate students for the current year. So if we take a look, the only line item that stays the same, whether a student says they're with parent on campus or off campus, is tuition. Every other line in this budget is an estimate or an example. So those are things that as a student you have control over. So if you're an off-campus student and the school is allotting room and board for $13,844, as we are up here on this top right side, that doesn't mean that's what you have to spend. Again, those are all estimates, okay? Everything besides the tuition is subjective, it's up for change. You do not have to spend that much, okay? So as you're budgeting and planning ahead, when you look at these schools and their cost of attendance budgets, again, keep in mind all of those numbers will be estimates, except for tuition, and then also except for maybe on-campus dorm cost, okay? The iGrad online tool. This is something that CSUB is paying for all of our students to have access to. So as a current CSUB student or a former CSUB student, you should be able to access the iGrad tool online. This is, I didn't realize how good it was until I logged in there myself to start looking at my student loans and setting up a budget for my household. There are some amazing tools in here, and now I've got my kids using some of these tools as well. So how do you make sure you're financially healthy and stay that way through graduate school? Smart spending, student loans, how will those impact you? You know, if you project that your income after graduate school is going to be $85,000, how much will your loans be? Can help you estimate all those things. There's banking options, credit cards, how to know a good credit card from a bad credit card, credit reports, what impacts your credit score, how to get it back up if it's down, planning ahead for your paycheck, investing in career resources. And this is really just an example of what's available through the iGrad online tool. So really encourage you to take a look because it can be really helpful in planning on how to get yourself from finishing up and graduating with your undergrad and moving on to graduate school. Okay, bigger picture. This is one of the things that I really wish I had kind of looked more into when I was working on my graduate degree, on my master's. There's some really great websites and tools out there, and it's going to vary by region. It's going to vary by what your major and what your intended degree is, and by the market that you live in. So you really want to do some research. So these are just some examples I found online that were relatively current. But for example, somebody with a bachelor's in business administration in the area that this was might start, out making around $57,000 a year. With a master's degree, that same student can expect around 84.5. So that's a difference of over $27,000 per year. Okay, why does this matter? When you're looking at your expected debt, if you do have to take out loans to be able to finance graduate school, which a lot of us did, is the payoff going to be worth it financially? And how much should I look at having to take? How much more will I be making when I'm done? Can I use that to pay back those loans? These are questions that are very personalized, but that you want to make sure you take a look at before you really make that decision to go forward. Computer science is an example, kind of maybe on the smaller side. So a bachelor's degree student in computer science can look at starting a little bit higher at around 68. But with a master's degree in this person's locale, the average wages only went up to 82. So the difference was 14,000. That's about half of that for somebody in business administration. So again, as you're planning ahead, please take the time to look at these for the major that you're interested in to see what kind of pay difference there are. So there's some where I've seen it where there's really not much of any pay difference at all. And there's some where the pay difference can be, you know, even more, almost double what the salary might be with a bachelor's degree. Okay. So, and I do know that Adrian's going to send this PowerPoint out later, so you can click directly on these links in the PowerPoint. And those were some websites that I found that had really good, useful information. Okay, as a graduate student, what types of aid can I get? So I get emails all the time, you guys, from students who are getting ready to graduate and they want to move on, but they're like, I hear I shouldn't do my FAFSA. There's no aid out there. If anytime you hear that, please tell them that's wrong. That is absolutely not correct, okay? The aid opportunities do change. You do still want to do the FAFSA, even if the only aid you might be looking at is scholarships. Most scholarships will look at your FAFSA. Even if need is not a required or determining factor, they're still going to want to see your FAFSA for scholarship purposes. So please make sure you still get them done. If you do your FAFSA and you are going through a master's program at an accredited school, at the minimum, you will be offered unsubsidized loans. The annual maximum is $20,500 for master's students and doctorate students. So just to kind of give you an idea of what might be out there and available in kind of a worst case scenario situation, if you do your FAFSA, worst case scenario, you should be offered at least $20,500 in unsubsidized loans to help you get through the program. So if we think about that, if that's enough and that helps you get through your program, you know, let's say your master's program is 2 years, some are less, some are more, you know, you're looking at owing $40,000 to $50,000. So if we go back to the previous slide for the business administration person, they would be able to pay that off in 2 years with their increased salary. So again, that's why you really want to look at these numbers, find out what the school is going to give you, what your out-of-pocket cost is going to be, okay? Not the published cost. And then can I afford it? Can I make that happen with loans if I need to? And if I need the loans, how long will it take me to pay them off, okay? Credential students, it's a little bit different. They can get some subsidized loan. It's kind of like being a senior all over again if you're looking at the teaching credential. The only thing is if you're a dependent credential student, you are not eligible for subsidized or unsubsidized loan at all. You'll only be offered the $5,500 in subsidized. Credential students who are Pell eligible and have Pell eligibility remaining can use that towards their credential program as well. So it pays out a little differently, so make sure you talk to us about it if you have any questions. Again, on loans, just a quick note. Do your research, only borrow what you need. The school will offer you, most schools will offer you the maximum that they can for the year. Doesn't mean you have to take out that full amount, okay? If the school offers you $20,500 and you need $2,500, you only have to take the $2,500. You do not have to take the full amount, okay? Scholarships and grants will vary by state, by school, by program, by major. This is where you need to be your own best self-advocate and self-promoter. Get out to those financial aid offices and find out what's available at that campus. Do your own researches for external scholarships, and if you want some resources and tools for that, just email me and I'll send you everything that I have access to here on campus. But that includes a lot of outside search engines. There are so many scholarships out there, you guys, and if you take the time to look for the ones that match your background, your program that you're wanting to go into, you'll really be, I think, surprised at how many opportunities there are, how many scholarships that match for you to apply to. Take the time to apply, okay? Get them done. If you need help, if you want your essays reread, if you need any help with that, you're, again, welcome to contact me directly and I will help in any way I can, okay? So getting help, what I have listed here are some campus resources, our financial aid webpage, your online portal, that's where you can find the iGrad tool link as well. Our Facebook page, there is our general financial aid email box, and then our financial aid phone number. So even though we're working remotely, we do have students and staff answering the phones and emails every day. Here is my direct email address, and if Adrian, if you guys can throw that in the chat as well, if it's not in there yet. So we're going to open it up for questions here really soon. And I know sometimes with financial aid, questions can be personal and maybe not something you want to put out there in a public forum, such as this. So that's why I want to make sure you guys have my direct email if you do have any questions you want to ask but not here. Also, if we don't get to your questions, as we do need to end, I believe, right at 4, or if you feel your question wasn't answered fully, or if you have any other questions that you think of later, please feel free to shoot me an email and I will get back to you as soon as I can, okay?